Okay, welcome back, my dear students. We'll continue the discussion what we had in the last class. That is, we are discussing about the distribution of charges over the surface of a what? Conductors. So my question is, what happens when the insulators are charged? What happens when the insulators are charged? When the insulators are charged, charge will be localized. Charge will be localized. What is the meaning of charge will be localized? In which region of insulator is charged, charge will reside only in that region. The reason is simple for this one. Insulators are the materials. They are not allowing any charge to flow from one region to what? Another region. Because of that particular reason, what happens? When the insulators are charged, charge will be localized. If I take an example of plastic ball, or glass ball, what happens when the glass ball is charged? Which part of the ball is charged? For example, you charge this part of the ball. Which part of the ball is charged? Charge will remain only in that part. Or else we can say that charge will be localized. Why? Because insulators are not allowing any charge to flow from one region to another region. Instead of insulators, suppose conductors are charged. What happens when the conductors are charged? Charges will be distributed over entire surface of a conductor. Suppose you consider conducting metal sphere or spherical conductor you consider, and it is given some charge. For example, you are charging somewhere here. Whatever the charges you are giving to the spherical conductor, that charge will be distributing over entire surface of a conductor. When the charges are given to the conductor, charges will be distributed themselves over entire surface of a conductor. That is the major difference between charging of insulators and charging of what? Conductors. Tell me the difference here. When the insulators are charged, charge will be localized. When the insulators are charged, charge will be localized. What happens when the conductors are charged? When the conductors are charged, charge will be distributed over entire surface of a conductor. That is the important property of what? Charging a conductor. So next is the distribution of charges over a surface of a conductor depends on curvature of a surface. Concentrate here. Distribution of charges over the surface of a conductor depends on its curvature. How it depends on its curvature? Greater the curvature of a surface, greater will be the distribution of what? The charges. What I can say now? Distribution of charges over the surface of a conductor. Distribution of charges over the surface of a conductor depends on its curvature. Very important point to be noted here. When the charge is given to any conductor, how the charge is distributed over surface of a conductor depends on its curvature. if curvature is uniform, charge distribution is also uniform. Look at the spherical conductor here. What is the property of a spherical conductor? Spherical conductor has uniform curvature. Spherical conductor has uniform curvature. That's what the distribution of charges is also uniform. If a curvature is not uniform, distribution of charges over the surface of a conductor is also non-uniform, which means where the curvature is maximum, there the charge distribution is also maximum. Where the curvature is minimum, the charge distribution will be minimum. Let me take one more example here. Imagine that conductor is of this shape. Imagine the given conductor is of this shape. When this conductor is given some charge, how the charge will be distributing? The charges will be distributed like this. Charges will be distributed like this. Look at the diagram, concentrate carefully here and look at how the charges will be distributed. I guess you are noticing the difference here. How I am drawing the diagram. Look at the diagram and tell me where the distribution of the charge is maximum. Where the distribution of the charge is maximum? The distribution of the charge is maximum at the corners. Here the distribution of the charge is maximum at the corners. Anybody will tell me what is the reason why the distribution of the charges is maximum at the corner? Because at the corner the curvature is maximum. If the curvature is maximum, the charge distribution is also maximum. If the curvature is minimum, the charge distribution is also minimum. If a curvature is uniform, then the charge distribution is also uniform. Why we are taking spherical conductor for giving the charge? You tell me why you are considering spherical conductor. The reason is simple. Spherical conductor has got uniform curvature. That's what the distribution of charge over the surface of a spherical conductor is also uniform. So this is one of the very important information related to distribution of charges over a surface of a conductor. Now you know very well we have three types of charge distributions we studied in the last class. Okay, now we will write electric field expressions for continuous charge distribution. Electric field produced by continuous charge distribution. Electric field produced by continuous charge distribution. So we'll write the expression for the electric field produced. When the charge is not discrete, it is continuous. Of course, to find the electric field produced by continuous charge distribution, we are making use of Gauss law. But here, before going to the Gauss law, just I will give the general expressions for the electric field produced by continuous charge distribution. You know very well there are three types of continuous charge distribution. In the first type, we have linear charge distribution. What is linear charge distribution? The charge is distributed over entire length of a conductor. What happens when the charge is distributed over entire length of a conductor? So this is the distribution of charges over entire length of a conductor. This is best example for first continuous distribution of charges. I want to know what is the electric field at a point P, and this P is at a distance R from the charge. Concentrate here. Charge is not a point charge here, or charge is not a discrete charge, it is a continuous charge. I want to find what is the electric field produced by this entire charged body at point P. I want to know what is the value of electric field here. In this case, what you have to do, the entire conductor should be divided into small segments, each of length dl. You have to divide entire conductor into small segments. Each segment should be having length dl. For example, this is the small segment I am taking. Its length is taken as what? dl. And we are going to assume that this dl part of a conductor is stored a charge of q. What is q? Q is a charge at a small part what you have taken. Then what is the electric field produced by only this part of a conductor at point P? That is given by the formula E is equals to what? 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by what? R square. What is Q here? Q is a charge on a part of a conductor what you have taken. So this is Q. If this is Q and this is length dl, here I am going to define linear charge density. What is linear charge density for this part of a conductor? The linear charge density for this part of a conductor is given by, what is linear charge density? Charge given to the conductor divided by length of a conductor. What is charge here? Charge is Q. What is length? Length is dl. Therefore, lambda is equals to Q by dl here. This implies, what is the value of Q? Q is equals to lambda dl. What is Q? Q is equals to lambda dl. So Q is a charge on a small part of a conductor which is going to produce the electric field at what? The point P. Substitute the value. Substitute the value. E equals to, what it is? 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. What is the value of Q? Q is given by lambda into dl divided by what? R square. So concentrate here, it is not a expression for the electric field produced by entire length of a conductor. It is just the electric field produced by small part of a conductor of length dl. Then how you are calculating the electric field produced by entire conductor here? So the entire conductor, as I said you, divided into the small segments. Each segment is going to produce the electric field which is given by 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught lambda dl divided by R square. If I ask what is the total electric field, the total electric field should be sum of the electric field produced by all such parts of a conductor which are taken from one end of a conductor to what? Another end of a conductor. Therefore, what is the electric field produced by entire conductor here? The electric field produced by entire conductor is given by 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught summation of dl's, all dl's here, summation of dl, or else we can take integration of dl anta ತಗೋಬಹುದು. Integration of dl lambda dl divided by what? R square, which is the expression for what? Electric field produced when charge is distributed over entire length of a conductor. Similarly, if the charge is distributed over entire surface of a conductor, then we are taking surface integral. That formula is given by 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Here we are taking integration, that is surface integral we are taking. Here this time it's not lambda, we have to use surface charge density, that is sigma. Here not dl, this time it should be ds divided by what? R square. So which is the expression for the electric field for surface charge distribution. If a charge is distributed throughout the volume of a conductor, then we have to use volume integral here, that is given by 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So now I will take volume integral, that is dv. This time it should be rho dv by R square. So these are the expressions for electric field produced by continuous charge distribution. First formula is used to determine electric field for linear charge. Second is used to determine the electric field for surface charge. Third formula is used to determine the electric field for volume charge. In general, these are the expressions for the electric field produced by continuous distribution of charges. As I said you, to calculate the electric field produced by continuous distribution of charges, we are taking the simplest method. That method will call it as a Gauss law. The Gauss law is used to determine the electric field produced by what? Continuous distribution of the charges. That we are going to discuss in the next session. In the next session, we will take Gauss law to determine the electric field produced by continuous charge distribution. So next class will discuss the Gauss law and its applications. Okay.